What the hell is going on with Cody Rhodes right now? The American Nightmare just dropped the most explosive and controversial statements about WWE's creative direction that have sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world. If you think Cody has been playing it safe as the company's Golden Boy champion, you're about to find out why his recent comments are making WWE executives absolutely panic and why hardcore wrestling fans are either calling him a hero or a complete sellout. But here's what's going to make you absolutely furious. Cody Rhodes just admitted that he's been lying to the WWE universe about his satisfaction with his current storylines. In a brutally honest interview that WWE probably wishes never happened, Cody revealed his true feelings about the creative process, the fan backlash he's been receiving, and why he believes WWE is making massive mistakes with his championship reign. This isn't just another wrestler complaining, this is the face of the company going to war with his own bosses. The absolute betrayal that wrestling fans are feeling right now after hearing Cody's real thoughts is making me physically sick. For months, we've been watching Cody smile and wave, cutting the same generic babyface promos, telling us how grateful he is for his opportunities while secretly harboring massive resentment about how WWE has been booking him. The man we thought was the perfect company champion has been a fake this entire time. Let me break down exactly what Cody said because these quotes are going to be talked about for years. When asked about the fan criticism of his championship reign being boring and predictable, Cody didn't give the usual diplomatic response. Instead, he said, and I quote, "Maybe the fans are right to be frustrated because I'm frustrated too. I didn't fight for years to become champion just to cut the same cookie-cutter promos and wrestle the same safe matches every single week." The bombshell continues when Cody talked about WWE's creative team and their approach to his character development. He basically called out the writers for being scared to take risks, for treating him like a corporate mascot instead of a wrestling champion, and for ignoring his creative input because they're terrified of offending sponsors or corporate partners. This is the kind of behind-the-scenes truth that WWE never wants fans to hear. But here's where it gets absolutely nuclear. Cody specifically mentioned that he's been pushing for more edgy storylines, darker character development, and feuds with legitimate heat, but creative keeps shutting him down because they want to maintain his family-friendly image. He's basically admitting that the PG-rated version of Cody Rhodes we've been getting is a corporate-mandated character, not the real wrestler he wants to be. The most devastating part of Cody's revelations is when he addressed the criticism about his matches lacking intensity and unpredictability. Instead of defending his performances, he agreed with the critics and blamed WWE's overly produced match formats. He said something like, "When every single spot is choreographed to death and every finish is designed to protect everyone's reputation, how are we supposed to create those magical wrestling moments that fans remember forever?" What makes this situation absolutely infuriating is that Cody is essentially admitting that WWE has been false advertising his championship reign to the fans. We've been sold a story about the American dream finally achieving his goal and being the perfect champion, but the reality is that Cody feels creatively stifled and frustrated with the limitations placed on his character and performances. The fan reaction to these revelations has been absolutely explosive and completely divided. Half the WWE universe is praising Cody for finally being honest about WWE's creative problems and for validating their criticism of his boring championship reign. The other half is absolutely furious that their champion has been lying to them for months and is now making excuses instead of taking responsibility for his lackluster performances. Let's talk about what this means for WWE's corporate image because Cody's comments are basically a public relations nightmare for the company. Their hand-picked champion, the guy who's supposed to be the perfect representation of WWE values, just admitted that the product they're presenting to fans is creatively compromised and corporately sanitized. This is the kind of honesty that makes WWE executives break out in cold sweats. But here's what's making me absolutely angry about this entire situation. If Cody Rhodes has been this frustrated with WWE's creative direction for months, why didn't he speak up sooner? Why did he wait until fan criticism reached a boiling point to suddenly become honest about his dissatisfaction? The timing makes it look like he's only speaking out now to save his own reputation after months of disappointing performances. The most shocking aspect of Cody's revelations is how they completely contradict the image WWE has been trying to project about their creative process. They've spent years telling fans that their writers collaborate with wrestlers to create the best possible storylines, but Cody is basically saying that collaboration means wrestlers shut up and read the scripts they're given. What's absolutely disgusting is how Cody's comments reveal the level of corporate control that WWE exerts over their talent's creative expression. He's describing a system where wrestlers aren't allowed to be artists or storytellers, they're required to be corporate employees who follow scripts designed by committees of writers who have never stepped foot in a wrestling ring. The psychological impact this is having on other WWE wrestlers must be absolutely massive. If the company's top champion is publicly expressing frustration with creative limitations, how are other wrestlers supposed to feel about their own storyline opportunities? Cody just opened the floodgates for every wrestler on the roster to start questioning whether they're getting the creative freedom they deserve. Here's what makes Cody's timing absolutely suspicious. These revelations come right after reports of backstage tension between wrestlers and creative teams, right after multiple wrestlers have left WWE citing creative differences, and right after fan criticism of WWE's product has reached new heights. It feels like Cody is trying to get ahead of a story that was going to come out anyway. The most devastating part of this situation for WWE is that their chosen face of the company just validated every criticism that hardcore wrestling fans have been making for years. When fans complain about predictable booking, sanitized characters, and corporate interference in creative decisions, WWE usually dismisses those complaints as internet negativity. But now their own champion is making the same complaints. What's absolutely brilliant about Cody's strategic timing is that he's basically forcing WWE's hand. By going public with his creative frustrations, he's created a situation where WWE either has to give him more creative freedom or risk looking like a company that doesn't listen to their top stars. This could be the smartest career move Cody has ever made. But let's address the elephant in the room. Some fans are calling Cody a hypocrite for accepting the championship and all the benefits that come with it while secretly harboring resentment about the creative process. They're saying he should have either refused the title push or been honest about his concerns from the beginning instead of playing along for months before suddenly speaking out. The business implications of Cody's revelations are absolutely staggering for WWE's future creative direction. If their hand-picked champion is publicly expressing dissatisfaction with the writing process, it's going to be much harder for WWE to attract and retain top talent who want creative input in their storylines. This could fundamentally change how WWE operates as a creative organization. What's making this situation even more controversial is how Cody specifically called out certain storylines and feuds that he felt were beneath his capabilities as a performer. He mentioned being frustrated with paint-by-numbers rivalries that felt more like corporate-approved content than authentic wrestling drama. Those are fighting words that could create backstage tension with writers and executives. The most incredible aspect of this situation is how it's revealing the massive disconnect between what WWE thinks fans want and what fans are actually demanding. Cody is essentially saying that WWE's focus group tested, corporate-approved approach to storytelling is exactly what's making their product feel stale and predictable to hardcore wrestling audiences. Here's what's absolutely infuriating about the fan response to Cody's revelations. There are people actually defending WWE's creative process and criticizing Cody for speaking out. These corporate apologists are saying that Cody should be grateful for his opportunities and should keep his complaints private. That kind of thinking is exactly what allows companies to mistreat their talent without consequences. The ripple effects of Cody's comments are already being felt throughout the wrestling industry. Other promotions are probably reaching out to WWE wrestlers who might be feeling similar creative frustrations. Wrestling journalists are investigating other stories of creative conflicts, and fans are re-evaluating their entire relationship with WWE's product based on these revelations. What makes Cody's position absolutely dangerous for WWE is that he's not some disgruntled mid-carder or aging veteran who can be easily dismissed. He's the face of the company, the champion they've built their entire marketing campaign around, and the wrestler they've positioned as the future of WWE. When someone at his level speaks out, it carries massive weight and credibility. The most shocking part of Cody's revelations is how they expose the massive pressure that WWE champions face to be corporate representatives first and wrestlers second. He's describing a situation where maintaining sponsor relationships and corporate image takes priority over creating compelling wrestling entertainment. That's a fundamentally broken system that explains why WWE programming often feels so sanitized. But here's what gives me hope about this entire situation. Cody's willingness to speak out could be the catalyst for real change in how WWE approaches creative collaboration with their talent. If enough wrestlers follow his lead and start demanding more input in their storylines, WWE might be forced to evolve their creative process to keep their top stars happy and engaged. The timing of these revelations also raises questions about whether Cody has been in discussions with other promotions about potential opportunities. Wrestling companies are always looking for disgruntled WWE talent, and Cody's public expression of creative frustration could be laying the groundwork for future negotiations if WWE doesn't address his concerns. What's absolutely incredible is how Cody managed to express his frustrations while still maintaining plausible deniability about his loyalty to WWE. He criticized the creative process without directly attacking individual people, expressed his dissatisfaction without threatening to leave, and validated fan concerns without completely burning bridges with management. That's masterful media manipulation. The psychological warfare aspect of Cody's strategy is absolutely brilliant. By going public with his concerns, he's created a situation where WWE executives have to respond to his criticisms or risk looking like they don't care about their champion's creative satisfaction. He's essentially forced them into a public negotiation about his role and creative input. So here's what I want to know from all of you. Do you think Cody Rhodes is a hero for finally being honest about WWE's creative problems? Or is he a hypocrite for complaining after accepting all the benefits of being champion? Do his revelations make you more sympathetic to his boring championship reign, or more angry that he's been lying to fans for months? And most importantly, do you think WWE will actually make changes based on their champion's public criticism? Because let me tell you something, regardless of how you feel about Cody's timing or motivations, his willingness to speak out about creative frustrations could be the beginning of a revolution in how WWE treats their talent's artistic input. The American Nightmare just started a conversation that could change the entire wrestling industry. Sound off in the comments with your thoughts on Cody's shocking revelations and let me know whether you think he's justified in his criticism or completely out of line for going public with internal complaints. This story is just getting started.